Hi, good evening, Lourdes. Thanks for being here. Okay, let's begin today's class. You know that we worked already the first steps, right? We were working together. Well, first we finished the introduction, right? 3 steps over there. And then we started working on the body paragraph, only the first step, right? Which was the topic sentence. Let me go over there. This one over here, right? Sorry, this one. And this was just the starting point. Then you know that you have a second step that is optional. This is in case you want to explain a little bit about your topic sentence, because sometimes the topic sentence can be complex or it can be not enough, right? What you said. When you have that feeling, you can work on the second step and write a second sentence, right? It can be, it says, right, 1 or 2 extra sentences that are going to explain your first sentence. That's it, but that's optional. The ones we needed to work for today, I know that perhaps not all of you were able to work with this, but I'm going to work with the ones who were able to. So is introduce your evidence. Introducing the evidence is only kind of talking about one more time about the topic and mention, right, what is the source that you used for the evidence that you're going to show later on, right? Give us the name of the web page, give us the name of the, I don't know, conference, or whatever source that you're using, right? It's important to show us what is supporting that idea. And after you show that, oh, well, first over here, you can introduce the evidence by using many verbs, right? You have many possibilities. For example, you have this list of verbs over here, right? Asserts, believes, claims, commands, confirms, right? Declares, and so on and so forth. Even on the example that we were reading, right? It says stresses, right? So you have a lot of verbs, a lot of verbs. So you can play with those verbs because you know that you're going to introduce at least 2 evidences, all right? One in the first paragraph and the other one in the second paragraph. So you can use a different, all right, a list of verbs for each type or each time that you're going to be introducing different evidences. And that's it, right? The next part is only copying and pasting. Here, because of the type of essay we are working on, we are going to use quotation marks. Why? Because we are using evidence from real sources, right? We're not talking about personal examples because that's for other kinds of essay, right? When you are working with other types of essay, you can mention personal examples. But here it is better for this argumentative essay to work with real evidence, right? So it's going to be important then to use quotation marks because we're going to be quoting some other people. And that's it. Now I'm going to check. I think that some of you were able to work on that. I'm going to start working with that part, with what you were able to do. So let's begin with you, please. Lourdes, let's read what you got.
Okay, teacher, but I did only the first and second step. I couldn't do the third and the fourth.
Don't worry.
So,
Let's work on what you have there.
okay. First of all, so many businesses have been affected by the pandemic in the last 2 years because they were not prepared for this big change, especially in Bolivia. Most of the small businesses and some of the biggest ones had social media pages, Facebook and Instagram, but they didn't have a strategy to use it correctly.
Okay, good, good. Yes. So this is part of your first step, right? The topic sentence. And you're giving perhaps extra explanation to make clear what you mean, right, with what you're saying. It's good. It's very good. Just one thing, again, as you're going to be using this as your essay for Monday, I'm not going to give you now every detail of what you're going to do, but just check the punctuation when you're using because, and then especially be sure that because, if you're using because in that way, it means that because it's not important, or at least it's not the main idea and it's only extra information. But because of the way you're structuring, it looks like that because it's important. So be sure that that comma is needed over there, because again, if you set the clause that starts with because in commas, it means that is something extra, right? Because we
Mm,
usually do not use commas with that one. All right,
Okay,
just
teacher.
that one. Okay, good. I think this is great to have the first idea. You have a complete idea. You have the extra explanation. Those are the first two steps, right? Remember, the second one was optional, Lourdes. So when you're working, for example, because right now it's perfect like that. But if you feel that you need more words, for example, for the second paragraph, or you're not going to have enough, right, word numbers to finish the conclusion, I don't know, you can delete the second step because it's optional, only because of the number of words. But if it works like that and you have, and you're respecting the limit that we have, then it's going to be perfect. Now, in the meantime, I'm going to be checking, perhaps I'm going to go with Whitney. Try to take a look at some kind of saying, right? Some kind of quote that you can use for this purpose. You're going to talk about some strategies, perhaps a good thing that they could have done. So try to take a look at some research or something related with the strategies, right, in digital marketing. And you can grab a short, right, a short quote and use it as a citation over here in this document. I don't know if you have any questions, Lourdes. Let me know, please.
No, teacher, everything is clear. Thank you.
Great, perfect, thank you. And let's see, for example, with you, Whitney, tell me how is it going for you? Were you able to work something else, or do you have any questions related to these steps?
No, teacher.
Okay, okay, good. So let's read what you got, please, so far. Let's read what you were able to work on at the beginning of your body paragraph, please.
Okay, first of all, the contribution of Egyptians to society started with some astronomy answers. The sun is important to understand the relation with the stars or with the moon.
Okay, good, good. The only thing that the correction right there, over there, is going to be in plural with stars or with the moon. Okay, okay, good. Now I have something clear, right? That and you're telling me what you're going to talk about. So please, the same for you. I'm going to give you right now. It's just for practicing, because after this, of course, you need to work on this essay in detail because you're going to use this information for Monday if you want, right? If you want. But right now, please, Whitney and Lourdes, I'm going to give you, let's say, um, yes, 5 minutes. All right, 5 minutes. I think it's a lot. Until 7:15, go to Google, right? And try to do some very short and specific research about this part, okay? Because remember, right now it's important that you can work with me. It's not going to be like very big what you need to do for practicing, but get any quote, okay, that is going to support your idea. So for example, Whitney, you can go to Google, right, and type and search something related to Egyptians and astronomy, right? And you can copy and paste that information to show me evidence, right, of what you're saying. And the same for you, please, Lourdes. You're going to be working then with let me see. It could be, right, digital marketing strategies, could be some evidence that you can show me, or good strategies for marketing, or whatever you believe that is going to be a good evidence for what you're telling me. All right, please, 5 minutes, then it's going to be until, right now it's at the 7:16, let's say 7:17. Let's work on that, please. All right, in the meantime, I'm going to be preparing something to show you. Right. Just in case on my screen, I'm leaving this part, all right, the third step, because remember right now, it's important that you work steps 3 and 4, all right? 3 is introducing the evidence using any of these verbs, right? And you have to identify the source and summarize the provided content. It means that at the beginning, all right, before copying and pasting the quote, the saying that you're going to use, before doing that, give me a short summary of what you're going to show me, okay? And identify the source, right? You can say, for example, 5 years ago, there was a very important conference in which, I don't know, these countries were gathering to decide and to make decisions related to environment. And according to CNN, the most important results of that meeting, right, were, and you copy and you paste what you want. All right, something like that. I need you to introduce your evidence by telling me something like that. Or, right, according to this author, right, that wrote this, and that on this book, he believes that, and you copy and paste your evidence, right? It's only the introduction, and then copying and pasting with quotation marks, please. All right. Also remember that when you finish copying and pasting your evidence, at the end you need to tell me, right, what's the author's last name and the year. You always have that information. For example, if you go to CNN, to BBC, or any other web page, always or almost always, right, the name of the author is at the beginning, down below the title sometimes, or sometimes it's at the end, right, when the article is finished, you have the name of the author. And if you don't have the year, try to look, all right, over there. You must have a reference of the year, but if you don't have it, perhaps it doesn't matter, but try to look for and try to find those two elements, please. The last name of the author that you're going to use, a comma, and the year. All right, let's try to finish, please. For this time, right, it's going to be very informal. It can be something short that you find. The thing is that we see that the structure that you're using is correct. You need, again, to introduce your evidence, summarizing what you're going to show. Don't interpret yet, all right? Don't interpret that. Just a summary, right, of what you're going to show. It's an article. Why was that article written? If you have some information about that, or what you believe that article is important to show, right? You can say, according to this article, I don't know, that is related to this event that I believe is very important because of this and that. So give me a summary, all right, to provide context to that article, to understand that perhaps not only the article, right, to understand what the author is saying and identify the source. Let's do that, please. In 1 minute, we're going to check what you got. The most important thing now is the structure. Then you're going to rework that again if you want for Monday, all right? But now it's only important to see that you're going to follow the steps. Okay, and one last thing, all right, before finishing, remember that it's very important to use the exact words, all right? So we have to use quotation marks. It means let's not paraphrase yet, okay? Because the paraphrasing is going to be step number 5. Okay, step number 5 is unpack, explain your evidence. So in this part, we're going to paraphrase the evidence. Right now, it's just a summary of the context and the source, all right, and mentioning the source. And after that, you need to give me the exact words that the author, right, that the article is mentioning, and finish that with always quotation marks. And then after that, we're going to have the paraphrasing of that short quote, all right, citation. And finally, we are going to have the conclusion, right, as we were doing and practicing yesterday. Try to take a look at that, please. All right. Melissa, what we're doing is the following. I'm going to start working with Whitney and Lourdes. They were working on the steps number 3 and 4. I'm going to be checking those ones. In the meantime, please try to do the same if you were not able to do that, Melissa. We need at least one important citation, all right? So we need to look for important quotes, parts of what an author is saying, right? To support your idea. That is going to be, again, part of steps 3 and 4. If you didn't work on that, please try to work on that now in the meantime, because I'm going to be working with Lourdes and Whitney. And let me know when you finish, please, Melissa, okay?
Okay, teacher, sorry for being late.
No, it's okay. Okay, and I'm showing you the example once again, in case you want to check, perhaps Melissa with me or Lourdes. This is the part that we're following now, right? And we're working on. It's the introduction of the evidence, right? Showing the source, giving a short summary of what you're going to show. Don't paraphrase for yet, right? Only a short summary of the context. And then introduce the evidence with quotation marks. One here that I don't know why they are doing this, if your quotation is going to start from the middle of that saying, you can use parentheses, all right, and the 3 dots over there, or 3 periods, like this. I'm going to show you on the document, all right, up here. So oh, I'm going to say it like this better. Definitely start, all right? All right, it's going to be something like that. It's at the beginning of your document, okay? So that's one thing you can do. If you're not using your idea that starts from the beginning, it means the complete sentence, then it's better to use this structure. I mean to use, let me close this one over here. Quotation mark, all right, open quotation mark, then you parentheses with 3 periods over there, and a connection. And you continue, right? Of course, this is an example, right? This can be anything that is being quoted from the middle of the sentence, let's say. Okay, let's check what you got in the meantime. Let's read what you have so far, please. Lourdes, let's read your introduction again. I mean, not introduction, only the body paragraph, the topic sentence, the extra explanation that you're giving, and how you're connected that to the following idea.
Okay, teacher, I didn't finish yet, but okay. First of all, so many businesses have been affected by the pandemic in the last 2 years because they were not prepared for the big change, especially in Bolivia. Most of the small businesses and some of the biggest ones had social media pages, Facebook and Instagram, but they didn't have a strategy to use it correctly. Marketing had an evolution from marketing 1.0 to marketing 5.0, and technology had to change with it too. And then I had to introduce the author, that it's Philip Kotler, and a phrase that I was looking for.
Great, great. No, it's good so far. I think it's working very good. It's smooth, all right? Everything seems to be connected like in a very organic way. So I don't, for example, perceive any kind of force in the idea. So it's going great, Lourdes. Let's try to look for that one. Again, if you don't find the exact one that you want, perhaps you can use that for Monday. Try to use any quotation just because we're going to need that one to go to the next step. All right, try to use one. If you don't find the ideal, use any other that can be also helpful to continue practicing. And then for Monday, you can change it to the one you wanted. Okay?
Okay, teacher.
Perfect. Let's. Now, and also I was forgetting Lourdes, please. That's the first step, and with that color, very good. Try to please highlight the second step. In your case, right, you're using the second step. So try to use a different color, please, for that one. And for what you believe is the context that is part of the introduction of your evidence, use another color, all right? So that we have that difference. Just that one, Lourdes. Thank you. Now let's go with you, please, Whitney. Let's read what you have, please.
Okay, first of all, the contribution of Egyptians to society started with some astronomy answers. When research in Combo Hombo in Egypt shows that ancient Egyptians were astronomers. They could predict sun moon events and or eclipses. Furthermore, scientists at Harvard could resolve the structure of their calendar in order to understand if they know how moon cycles are or how the world moves.
Okay, good. So you're even trying to give an information in your own words. Are you going to use the exact words after this, or how you're going to structure this part, Whitney?
I didn't understand exactly.
Okay, because the information you have is very, very important. But remember, again, we're working on steps 4 and 5. In steps 4, we only introduce like this. I'm going to show you. If you see my example over here on my screen, right? This is a step, for example, number 4. This is what you need to do first. Just give me a context of the article that you're going to quote. For example, that you're saying is good. It can serve as a context because you're telling me, for example, that you have some studies over there and that Harvard also has been working with that. Now, after mentioning that, don't give me the exact information yet. Just tell me that you're going to be using those two sources. That is introducing the evidence. Just tell me that you're going to be using results from that study and you're going to mention also something related to Harvard. Then you have period, and you can say, right, something like this. An article, right, provided by Harvard, you can say, right, an article or a research provided by Harvard declares that colon, right? And you need to give me exact words on any article that you can look for with me, but you need the exact words with quotation marks. All right, like this, right? I need the exact words that they mentioned, for example, in Harvard, or I need the exact words that they said, for example, in this research, right, in COMBO. So I need that. So try to perhaps this information, because afterwards you're going to paraphrase everything. You can try perhaps to summarize this in something shorter, then give me the exact words, all right? Not your words, not paraphrasing yet. That's going to be later on. The exact words that Harvard, all right, is giving us, the exact words that some important people, all right, in Combo Ombo mentioned, or I don't know, right? Any evidence that you have. And just after that, you're going to use your words to explain your evidence. Okay, but that's the next step, which is the 6th one, if I'm not wrong. Let me see over here. Yes, it's going to be the 6th one, because step 5 is, or no, sorry, step 5. This is the one in which you're going to paraphrase. So step 3, only give me context. Tell me that you're going to mention Harvard. Tell me that you're going to mention that location, and give me a little bit of context, right, of what article is about, but very little. Next, you give me the exact words, Lourdes, all right? The exact words that you get from the Harvard article or any article that you want. And finally, but we're not working on this yet, we are going to paraphrase, all right? Unpack the evidence, explain the evidence, means that you're going to use your own words to explain what is said in quotation marks. Okay, so that is the thing. Try to look for that one, please, Whitney. Try to look for an exact quote that you're going to use from the sources that you're mentioning. And then we're going to do the paraphrasing. Let's try to do that, please.
Okay, teacher.
All right, in the meantime, let's go with you, Melissa. It seems that you have something. Let's try to read the entire body paragraph, please.
Okay, teacher, I'm still working on it, but it says To begin with, employees will work harder, faster, and more effectively if they are in a good mood. It would be lower levels of stress, and if they feel that they are appreciated in their workplace. And the new part, it says a study published by the Wall Street Journal points out that happiness in our workplace is related to contribution and that employees will have a better performance if they are appreciated by their bosses or colleagues.
Okay, so one question there, because I think it's great. You have the information here, but are you, those words, were there your words, or are you using the Price Jones, for example, words exactly?
Um, I paraphrase it a little bit. Actually, all this information is from my thesis,
Mhm.
my thesis from college. So I read the whole article. I think it was in a magazine, but this is my paraphrase about the whole article mostly.
Okay, good, good. Now, just because of the purpose of the essay, right? I'm like insisting on this, just because I want everybody to have the same structure, and in that way, you can, in a later essay, right, do it differently. But just because we all need to have the same structure in this case, let's try to do something, Melissa. I think what you have is very, very important and it's great. But let's try to copy and paste, all right, an exact part of that article or this article that you're talking about. And first, show me at least 2 or 3 lines that you consider are very important. Remember that you can use lines from different parts of the article, right? It doesn't have to be consecutive. For example, you give me one part of one of the beginning of the article, you use the parentheses, right? 3 periods, parentheses. Then you give me another part of the, I don't know, something that is in the middle of the article, if you believe that's a good idea. But I'm going to need the exact words that this person is saying or that were said in this article. And then after that, you're going to paraphrase that and you're going to give your opinion on that. And finally, we're going to conclude, and that's going to be the body paragraph. All right. So in order to do that, so that you can expand even your ideas and paraphrase even more, I'm going to need to give me one exact part, all right, of this paragraph. It could be even after this, if you believe that after this explanation or giving me a context of that article, you can give me the exact words, do it. If not, try to replace this paraphrasing by the exact words, all right? And then copy and paste this paraphrasing after the quotation, after the citation, and you can expand a little bit more and finally give me a conclusion. But let's do that first, please, Melissa. I don't know if you have any questions related to that.
No, teacher, I will search the article again and I will try to get an entire quote from it.
Great, there you go. Yes, it's not more than 2-3 lines. That's more than enough. Even one line, if you believe that that line is very important, that's more than enough. But great, let's do it, please, Melissa, and we're going to check that again.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. For example, this that you're doing here is something that is not possible to do sometimes in international tests, right? Because you don't have access to research. But sometimes you can, if the international test gives you, right, an article or something that someone is saying, you can use this method. But I'm making you work like this because this is the academic way of working this. If you don't have the tools to work with research at that moment. For example, some international tests don't give you extra information. You just have to use your ideas. Then you're going to give your examples and something that you remember. And instead of giving me exact citation, right, you're going to paraphrase directly as you were doing. So it's okay, for example, what you were doing, Melissa, what you did, Whitney, all right? It's very good because that's what usually you're going to do at international tests. But now that we have the resources, that's why I told you, right, on Wednesday, it's important that you can work for your own and do some research. Why? Because I'm going to like ask you this time, all right? For this time and for the final essay, I'm going to ask you to show me like citations. Be working with the academic way of writing an essay. And with that background, right, in the future, you can write essays without giving me citations, right, or without giving citations in general, but only paraphrasing. But that's going to be, right, according to the conditions in which you are writing the essay, according to the instructions that you have on the essay, etc. All right, but again, this is the most academic way of working, and it's important that we have these citations over here. All right, so Lourdes, I see that yours is almost done. Actually, that it's done. The only thing that it's going to be like missing, but if we don't have that information yet, it's okay, right? It's the last name and the year. But right now, I'm not going to be asking for that details if you don't have it, but it's going to be important to have it for Monday. Let's read only the last part, please, starting from marketing, Lourdes, to see how it goes from that part.
Okay, marketing had an evolution from marketing 1.0 to marketing 5.0, and technology had changed with it too. Philip Kotler, author of This Evolution of Marketing and specialist of marketing strategy, claims today we have to run faster to stay in the same place.
Good, very good. Great, that's it. That's everything I need, Lourdes. That's perfect. Only one thing again, try to check the sentence or the idea that is in pink. See if you can use one extra punctuation mark, because perhaps you have two different ideas. And if you have two different and complete ideas, you're going to need to use one extra punctuation mark, right? Again, that's for you to check, perhaps for Monday. Try to be sure that you have the two ideas with the right punctuation. And that's it, because after that, with Philip and the explanation in commas, it's working great. I don't know if you have any questions, because I think we're good so far, Lourdes.
No, teacher, everything is clear.
Great, thank you. All right, great. This is the part of the essay in which you're going to take perhaps some time, because you need to do some research. And you're going to do that, or this, let's say, for the first right body paragraph, and for the second body paragraph, and for the third body paragraph, all right? Just to follow the structure that we are using. With me, of course, you're only going to work this one. Again, I'm making some corrections and so on, but if you realize sometimes I'm not giving you the answer, why? Because this is the essay that you can use for Monday. But it's important that you can reanalyze your own essays and can make the corrections that you believe are important to make. Why? Because I'm going to be evaluating that on Monday, all right? Actually, well, on Tuesday, but you have until Monday to upload this. So it's important that you can do that. Also, I'm going to show you now the criterion, all right, that I added, that is essay structure. And that criterion, right, has a lot of details related of how you can get the best score, on how you're going to be losing some points. And it's important, for example, to divide your ideas with steps and with colors. We're going to read that right away. And one thing that I was forgetting, Lourdes, sorry, let's use then the same color in the context that you're giving me with marketing hat. Let's use that same color until you have the color claims, all right? Because the introduction of the evidence is actually going to be up to that part. Even when you say, right, Philip, author of the evolution of marketing, pam, 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 until colon, that's going to be, all of that is introduction of the evidence, step number 3. And then step number 4 is actually the thing that you have in quotations, all right, in quotation marks. Exactly, there you go. Good, very good. Again, and I'm working like that with you because you're going to see that in the criterion that I added. Also, marking this with different colors is going to be something that will be evaluated, because it's going to help me have an idea of how many steps you worked, and I can check specific details as punctuation, connection, right, and the coherence that there is between, right, steps. Good. Let's read yours, please, Melissa. Let's read everything that you added, right, from the eye opener.
Okay, the Eye Opener Institute based in Oxford found out that a happy worker is a high performing one. They take less sick leaves, are 6 times more energized, and they stay longer in the companies.
Good, great, very good. I have no observations there, Melissa. I think it's working great. Let's just do the same as we're doing with Lourdes. Let's mark this part, all right, up to the colon with one color, and all your citation, all right, with a different color, because that's going to be a different step. All right, let's just do that, please.
Okay.
Great, thank you. And finally, yes, yours also, the most important part is up to the quotation mark, Whitney. So let's read, please, everything you have up to this point. When you finish there and you close the quotation mark with calendar. Up to that point, please, Whitney.
Okay, when researching Combo Humbo in Egypt showed that ancient Egyptians were astronomers. They could predict some moon events or eclipses. Research provided by Harvard says the Egyptian calendar has been resolved. We found a 90% similarities with our calendar.
Thank you very much, Whitney. Great. Up to that part, we have everything we need. Just one thing, in that part, as many of the times we use research as an abstract idea, non-countable noun, you have options. It's better if you're going to say some research, all right, or recent research, or some research, or directly research, right? That's the correction that they are making over there. That's the only thing. And the second thing is that, please, you can mark again with one color up to the column that you have, right? Up to Harvard says, from one research to Harvard says, and the thing that you have in quotation with a different color. Just that one with me. And that's it. Okay, and that's it. Perfect.
Okay.
I think we're ready. All right, I think we're ready to go to the next part. But again, I'm going to make a short summary first of every step we have so far. And then we're going to go to the conclusion, okay? So first we have the topic sentence, right? What you're going to talk about in your essays. Second, this is optional. This is something that Lourdes did. And if you believe with me and Melissa that you can add this, it's up to you. It's not obligatory. It's explain your topic sentence. It says, right, does your topic sentence require further information? If so this is optional. If you believe that you need to give me more explanation about your topic sentence, write at least one more sentence. If not, it's okay. This is optional. The third is the introduction of the evidence, right? And what is the introduction? The introduction is not the evidence itself, right? Is identifying the source and summarizing, right, a little bit to provide context. For example, telling me that you're going to mention Harvard, that you're going to mention this article, that article. That is, all right, the summary of the context. And of course, identifying the source is mentioning the name of, right, the university, I don't know, the news source that you're going to use. And that's why this is a different color. The evidence is what you have in quotation marks, only that. We're up to that part so far. Now we have to work on steps 5 and 6, but please, as you needed to work on steps, right, 3 and 4, you are not able to do it. It's important then that you can do this at home. We're going to read this right now together, but because we need to work on the conclusion as well, it's important that you can do this at home. All right, so please, let's read the step 5, Lourdes.
Okay. Step 5, unpack, explain your evidence. Explain what the quote means and why it's important to your argument. The author, you should agree with how you sum up the quotation. This will help you to establish credibility by demonstrating that you do know what the author is saying, even if you don't agree. Often 1-2 sentences tops.
Thank you very much, Lourdes. So that is the 5th step, right? That's what I was telling you, Whitney and Melissa, right? This is the reason I was telling you, don't paraphrase your ideas yet, because in this step, you're going to do that, all right? Here, we're not going to check because we spent more time than we needed in steps 3 and 4. Because of that, please, just taking this into account. And Lourdes, do you have any question?
No, sorry, teacher, I forget to off my microphone.
Okay, don't worry. So here is, right, where or the part in which you're going to paraphrase. Again, it says, right, often 1 to 2 sentences tops. It means that that's more than enough. 1 sentence is enough, but usually you have 2 sentences explaining your evidence. All right, so just to give you examples of what you're going to do, please, you have to do this at home because this is part of your essay that you're going to be presenting on Monday if you want, okay? So in this case, for example, let me show you. I know that perhaps Lourdes is going to look for a different citation. If she does, then she's going to explain that one. In case she's going to keep this that she has over here, we have to run faster to stay in the same place. She has to explain the reader, right? In this case, she has to explain me or to me why this author is saying that. Why? Well, first, why? And what's the reason behind it, right? And why is it important to mention this? We can summarize that in only 1 sentence or perhaps 2 maximum, okay? It's important to paraphrase this or to explain, right? You can either paraphrase or you can either explain what's the meaning of that specific citation. In the case, for example, of we have here Melissa, right? Again, if she believes that it's better to give extra explanation to this, she can do it. If she can paraphrase as she was doing at the beginning, right? Because I think, Melissa, you were working this on your thesis, right? So you can do that. You can paraphrase in 1-2 sentences and that's going to be it. That's going to be step number 5. The same for you, and I think you're also working on that already with me. Try to paraphrase or give me extra information related to this quote, right? What do you mean by this? And if it's clear what you mean by this, try to paraphrase a little bit. Try to play with the words. Try to make the reader understand that for you, right, that quote is clear, is very clear. And that's it. That is step 5. And finally, we have the 6th one, which is very short. Please, Whitney, you're going to help me with this one. Step 6, please.
Okay, insert a concluding sentence in your paragraph with a concluded sentence or sentences that research how your paragraph contributes to the development of your argument as a whole.
Thank you very much, Whitney. And this is the final sentence right here. We don't need more than one. One sentence is more than enough to give me the conclusion. And what you need to do is tell me how your paragraph is helping your entire essay, right? To tell me that you are right. That's it. You can say, right, by knowing that the Egyptians were able to work on the calendar, we know, right, and we're justifying that it's really important to teach these kind of cultures at schools, right? That can be one thing to finish that. Also here, by going back to this quotation, right, Melissa can say something like, because of these studies, right, now we are aware that it's really important to take, right, the workers or the employees' emotions and feelings because of this and that. And that's the conclusion of the body paragraph. And the same for you, Lourdes, right? The same idea. You have to, after giving me the paraphrase and after explaining this quote, you can say, right, why it was important to mention that and why you believe it helps to your entire essay. And that's it. That is the body paragraph. Please, you need to have for Monday at least 2. You work part of this first body paragraph, which is great. You need to finish only the last 2 steps, right? Paraphrasing or explaining your quote and giving me the conclusion of that body paragraph. And the second body paragraph has to be the same, but of course, a different topic, all right? In the second paragraph, you need to talk about a different topic, but the steps that you follow are the same. Just that. Do you have any questions related to this? Let me know, please. Okay, good. Now, perhaps you, Melissa, do you have any questions? I think you are turning on your mic.
No, teacher.
Okay, perfect. Now, let's read this criteria, all right? All the criteria we have to be sure what you have to do for Monday. It's going to be quick because we're not going to read actually everything, only one criteria. You know that we're going to be checking spelling. That's one thing. You have 10 points over there, all right? So it's not that much this time, 10 points for spelling. Punctuation is going to be 20 points. You know the criteria, right? You can make up to 2 mistakes. More than 2, you're going to be losing some points. This is important, right? This was part of the second essay. You need transitional words, phrases, and connectors. First of all, secondly, thirdly, therefore, nonetheless, however. You need those ones, all right? You can use fanboys, but fanboys are not transitional words and phrases over here. Remember that we mentioned some examples, but they are not transitional words, all right? They are like coordinating conjunctions. So try to use the other ones with which you use period and comma, right? Period, however, comma, period, therefore, comma, those ones. Of course, I'm going to take also into account those ones that are like although, even though. You can use those ones as well. And this is the new one. Please, I just want to read this with you, perhaps before you leave. Lourdes, can you read this part? Excellent. Or first, essay structure. Let's read this part, please, Lourdes.
Okay, the student uses the structure of the argumentative essay properly. Introduction, body paragraphs, and conclusion.
Good. And also this one, please, Lourdes. Excellent. What do we need to do to get an excellent score here?
Okay, the introduction has a minimum of 3 complete ideas following the 3 main steps. The body paragraphs have a minimum of 5 complete ideas each and follow the criteria of the 5 main steps. And the conclusion has a minimum of 3 complete ideas following the 3 main steps. Also, the steps are highlighted with different colors.
Good. Thank you very much, Lourdes. So the 30 points, right? If you want to get these 30 points, it's important to work like this. And actually, it's doing what you're doing, all right? Just be sure that you're highlighting your steps with different colors, as you're doing over here, right? Your introduction, look, 3 steps. The hook, then the background information, different color, and then the thesis statement. 3 steps, 3 complete ideas, 3 different colors. Great, right? Your introduction is very good. The second part, you have first the topic sentence, first step, right? 1. Then you have, this is optional. I'm not going to take this into account. This is an extra explanation of your topic sentence. It doesn't count, all right? But it's great if you can have it. The third one, that is obligatory, the introduction of your evidence, right? Step number 2, the second complete idea. Number 3 is the insertion of the evidence, and it's just what you have in quotation marks, number 3. After number 3, I think you were working with this, Whitney, so I'm going to use yours as an example. You're going to give me in step number 4, right, let's say, the paraphrasing of your quote, right? That is step number 4. That one with a different color. Complete idea, different color. And finally, a different color, a final sentence is going to be the conclusion of your body paragraph. And you need to do that 2 times, right? One for the first body paragraph and the other one for the second body paragraph. And finally, what we're going to do now in this time that we have, the conclusion. And the conclusion, as you read over here, has only 3 main steps as for the introduction, right? 3 main steps. Now, before continuing, I want to know if you need to leave now. Lourdes, let me know, please.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, so give me 1 second. Take a look, please, at the document. You have the document, you know, as always, Lourdes, on Google Classroom. Take a look at the conclusion. It's only 3 steps, all right? Try to work on those 3 steps with 3 different colors for Monday, and that's going to be it, okay? I don't know if you have any questions before leaving.
No, teacher, everything is clear. Thank you.
Perfect, there you go. You're welcome. See you then, Lourdes. Have a good weekend and see you on Monday.
Thank you, bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, now, let me know, please, if you have any questions so far. Also, Melissa, Whitney. Again, the only thing that you're missing is the last part of the body paragraph. Whitney, let me know.
And yes, I don't know exactly the difference with the paragraph, the second and the third part. The evidence,
okay,
and the I write exactly word, right?
Okay, give me 1 second. You're going to show me, please, with me. I'm saving this just a little while. A13. Okay, good. Now, show me, please, what you mean, Whitney. I'm on the here. Oh, I'm going to share my screen, right? Which
Yes.
steps? Between steps 3 and 4, or between steps 4 and 5? 3 and 4.
3 and 4.
3 and 4. All right. Look, actually, again, as I was telling you, step number 3 is only introducing the evidence. And what is introducing the evidence? Is not copying and pasting the evidence. No, it's like how do you introduce someone, right? Hi, this is Melissa, right? Melissa, this is Whitney. Whitney, this is Melissa, right? So that is step number 3. you have to introduce your evidence. You don't have to show me your evidence yet. You don't have to copy and paste the information in step number 3. No. And you don't need to explain the evidence. No. You just have to tell me, right? Hi, this is my evidence, right? I'm using this evidence from this place, right? Nice to meet you. That is introducing the evidence. You have to tell me what source you are using, right? And what's the name of the source that you are using, right? For example, in your case, give me a second. Only this is the introduction of the evidence from one research to CES. Because you're telling me that you're going to mention this combo, all right, in Egypt, this is a little bit of context of what you're going to talk about. And then you're mentioning that a research provided by Harvard says. That is the introduction of your evidence, because you're giving me some context and you're telling me what is the source that you're going to use, in this case, Harvard, right? So that's a step 3. And step 4 is only this, copying and pasting the exact words. All right, that is a step 4. And step 4, that's why it's called insert your evidence. So use quotation marks to copy and paste the exact words of the article that you're reading. Here, as I told you, right, they are mentioning personal examples. Sometimes we use quotes, but here is because they are talking about other types of essay in which we don't need quotation marks. But in this essay, we need them. Okay, but again, that is the main difference with me. This is just telling me what you're going to use as a source, giving me a short context. And number 4 is copying and pasting the exact words in quotation marks. All right, that is the main difference. And now, after you do that, in step number 5, you have to now use your own words to explain, all right, or to paraphrase your evidence. I mean that after this quotation that you used over here, the Egyptian, right, calendar has been resolved. We found that 90%, right? We found that 90% similarities with our calendar. So you need to explain that to the reader. You can say, right? This means that, I don't know, whatever you believe it's important to mention there, right? This means that Egyptians were able to solve very complex problems and very complex situations many years before, right, we were able to have our own calendars, right? Because of this, I believe that it's really important to take what Egyptians done in the past, right, into account, right, as part of our education. And that's it. In that way, you are paraphrasing and you're justifying why you used that quote. I don't know if now it's clearer, Whitney. Let me know, please.
Yes, teacher, I understand. Thank you.
Okay, good. You're welcome. So please, this is what I'm going to be waiting. You need 2 paragraphs, all right? 2 complete paragraphs. With me, you work with your introduction and the first part of your body paragraph. But again, for the second body paragraph, Whitney and Melissa, you need step 1, another topic sentence. Okay, it has to be something different. If in your case, Whitney, you talked about the contributions of, right, I don't know, Egyptians in general to society, the second one has to be something different. I don't know, right? Some other advantages related to teaching, I don't know, about the Egyptians at schools or whatever you have in your mind, but it has to be something different. Or in your case, Melissa, you're talking about happiness, right? And the connection with productivity, but now you have to show me something different. A different study, this time not with happiness, perhaps, but also with feeling comfortable. Or you mentioned in one part, right, staying or, yes, staying longer in the same enterprise or company. So you can develop that idea better in the second topic sentence, right? So something different. After that, introduce your evidence, right? What articles you're going to use to give me real evidence, or insert the evidence, right? Copy, paste quotation marks. 5, explain that evidence in your own words, paraphrase or simply explain that. And finally, the concluding sentence. You have to tell me, as I was saying to you, Whitney, why it was important to mention that for your entire essay. And that's it. That's what you need for your 2 body paragraphs. Finally, what we're going to try to do now It's going to be, again, I know, kind of difficult because we don't have all the information we need, but it's just to give you, of course, the better idea of what a conclusion is in this kind of essay. So we're going to read this together, please, and you're going to give me at least some ideas. Let's go with the step one, please, Melissa. Let's read this one.
Okay, step 1, link back to the question thesis. Keep your conclusion focused by linking back to the question, title, statement, or topic thesis of the essay. This can be achieved by using keywords from the essay question or thesis. Thesis. It's crucial to compare the blended learning method to the traditional one to identify their strengths and weaknesses. Conclusion. Finally, we could see slash can see that it's really important to make a comparison between the two important methods to get the best out of them.
Thank you very much, Melissa. So the thesis is already in your introductions, right? This is the thesis. For example, this is the thesis of an essay that I wrote. Now, in the conclusion, if you realize, you kind of get the idea of your thesis, right? Your introductory thesis, because you're going to link back to that. And you're going to say, right? So finally, we were able to see, we could see that it's really important, right, to make a comparison between the two important methods, right, to get the best out of them. If you see, it's actually very, very related. It's actually kind of the same, but we're using different words. So that is the first sentence of your conclusion, all right? To restate your thesis statement, all right? To restate it. To try to say that in different words and perhaps try to connect that idea with the results when you gave the evidence. That is step number one. Let's try to work on that actually, please, with Nia and Melissa. Try to write one short idea, only one sentence, right? Only one sentence. That is going to be the first sentence of your conclusion, trying to restate your thesis statement from the introduction. Like saying, right, that we were able, so what you wanted to show in your introduction, in the conclusion is that you already showed that, and you have to say, right? And that's why it was important to talk about these, and that. Let's try to do that, please. Very short, again, just to have that as a step, and we are sure of what we're doing. If you have any questions, let me know. Let's try to work on that, please, on, let's say, a maximum of 3-4 minutes so that we can go to the next step. Just what comes to your mind, all right? Just what comes to your mind, please. All right. And also remember that it's going to be important to use transitional words and phrases, right? So for the introduction, the first paragraph, the second paragraph, I mean the body paragraphs and the conclusion, try to use these sequential transitions, right? For this sequence. Remember that you can use words such as this for concluding, right? For to give the first idea of your conclusion, you can say finally, right? These are the best ones, the ones that are very strong. Finally, overall, right? Finally, overall, to conclude, as a final point, in conclusion, right? In summary, to sum up, right? So try to use always, at least no, not in the introduction, perhaps after the first sentence, you can use one transitional word and phrase. But to start the first paragraph, or sorry, yes, the first body paragraph, to start the second body paragraph, and to start the introduction, or sorry, the conclusion, is very important that you can use these transitional words and phrases that we have here, right? Initially, secondly, thirdly, first of all, second, to start, or you can say afterwards, subsequently, eventually, next, after this, after that, and for the end, finally, overall, to conclude as a final point, in conclusion, to sum up. You can also say briefly. I'm going to add that one over here, but actually that's a word. So, all right, briefly. So you have a lot of possible options over there. Try to use one of those words to have the final idea, please. I think you have something over there, Melissa. Let's read what you have as your first part of your conclusion, please.
Okay, teacher, I have this. In summary, it is important that companies start to acknowledge the importance of happiness in workplaces if they want to be competitive in a world where human talent is regaining their value as the main source of competitive advantage.
Okay, it's a very complex idea. I think it's very well structured. Only the last part sounds a little bit, I don't know, perhaps we can use a different terminology for the last part. And
Yes.
we're repeating, right? Competitive. So you can change
Yes.
that. Try to check the word competitive for the second time you're mentioning, and also the word importance, because you say it is important that companies start to acknowledge the importance, right? So you can say instead of
Yes.
importance, you can say it is vital, it is crucial, it is mandatory, or any other expression that is strong enough to replace that word. Just that one, because you don't need punctuation over here as you're connecting two ideas, two clauses, and the second part of your clause is connected with if, right? So we don't need commas over there. So I have no observations over there, Melissa. I don't know if you have any questions related to this.
No, teacher, I will try to think about other term to replace the second competitive.
Okay, good. Yes, because remember, this is for Monday, right? But I'm helping you to have some ideas. Remember that, for example, here, I forgot to tell you over here. No, actually, no, we don't have mistakes over there. In the, you deleted, right? In the
Yes.
part in which you wrote that, I think there were some little details about some punctuation marks. Try to take that a look, all right? Remember, it's going to be for Monday, so if you're going to use that information, try to rethink and always be sure, right? If you have a complete idea, be sure that you have the right punctuation, either a comma with a fanboy or either a semicolon, period, and so on. It was a little thing, but try to take a look again when you are going to upload it for Monday, okay? But what we have here is good, Melissa. Great.
Okay.
Now, let's try, I don't know if you were able to work this one with me. Remember that we're not working on the second paragraph. That's going to be for you to do at home. I don't know if you have any ideas for the conclusion, but remember, not the conclusion of your body paragraph, because for your body paragraph, it's only going to mention the ideas that you mentioned on your body paragraph, right? This that we're doing right now, because of time, I told you, it's going to be the final conclusion of everything, all right, of the entire essay. And that's going to work with the thesis statement. With me, tell me.
Okay, finally, it could be for the last paragraph, right?
Yes, for the final paragraph.
Oh, yeah, yes, okay. That was my mistake. Okay, finally, people have to understand that ancient cultures found some important answers without technology.
Okay, good. That's really interesting. Again, this is this is a good conclusion for this paragraph. You can use just a different transitional word and phrase. And just remember that this, what we're reading right now, we need this first step, is for the conclusion, but for the final conclusion, right? Just for the final conclusion. Your conclusion for that body paragraph is very good, because actually you're following the step, right? I'm going to show you once again. This is what we have for the final conclusion, right? What you did. End your paragraph with a concluding sentence or sentences that reasserts how your paragraph contributes to the development of your argument as a whole. So usually the concluding sentence in your body paragraph is saying, right, that's why I believe it's important to talk about this because of that. But I think yours fits perfectly over there. Just try to rethink for your conclusion, please, with me, a more general conclusion in which you can restate your thesis statement that it's at the beginning of your, yes, at the beginning, because it's in the introduction. I don't know if you have any questions with me. Let me know, please.
No, teacher.
Okay, good. Let's go now to the second step, please. That's going to be again for you, Melissa. Let's read step number 2.
Okay, step number 2. Summarize the main points. In the conclusion, you should not simply repeat what you have said in the rest of the essay, but aim to reinforce these key ideas by briefly summarizing your main points. One way to do this is to look back at all the topic sentences from the paragraphs in your essay and bring them together. In conclusion, it's really important to know the advantages and disadvantages of the blended learning method due to the fact that it helps us helps us have a better understanding on how to possibly improve the current methodologies.
So, sorry, thank you very much, Melissa. So again, this is giving like a very general example, but the second part is going to be about the specific things that you mention in your paragraphs. So the first part of your conclusion, it's a restate of your thesis statement, right? That is the first part. The second part of your conclusion, it's summarizing the main points of your body paragraphs. So after, for example, what you mentioned, Melissa, you can give me 2 more ideas. The first idea is going to be related to what? To your first body paragraph, right? You're talking about how employees work harder, faster, and more effectively, right? If they are in a good mood. So try to give me a short summary of this idea. And we don't have the second idea yet, right? That's why I told you it's kind of hard to work the conclusion without that. But when you have the second body paragraph, also try to give me a short summary of that second body paragraph. All right, so far we have this one. The first part of the conclusion is restating your thesis statement. The second part of the conclusion is giving a summary of the important points that you developed, right, in your body paragraphs. That's it. And we're going to take a look at the last one, but please again, with me and Melissa, try to work at least and in the beginning, or right for the beginning of that idea, you only have one body paragraph. So try to give me a short summary of that body paragraph as part of the final conclusion. Okay, let's work on that, please. And remember, what we're doing now, it's for the final paragraph. Because if you do this, if you follow all these steps for your body paragraph, you're going to use a lot of words and you're not going to have the chance of working two entire body paragraphs, okay? This that we're doing now, it's not for the body paragraph, all right? It's not for the body paragraph. We are supposing that you're going to finish your body paragraph at home, right? That you're going to complete your second body paragraph also at home. And this that we're doing now, it's for the last paragraph, right? It's a new paragraph. It's not the last part of your body paragraphs, all right? It's a new paragraph because it's the final conclusion. Okay, let's take that into account.
Teacher, I have one question.
Yes, tell me, Melissa.
In this paragraph, I will try to do what I did first with paraphrasing the quote by Price Jones.
No, we don't need actually that because the evidence is there and you already paraphrased that idea. Just give me very shortly what is the topic of that paragraph. If you're talking about, for example, the connection between being happy or in a good mood and the increment of productivity, mention that. Okay, but don't give me details because the details were already given in the paragraph, right? By paraphrasing and so on. Just tell me, right? As we were able to see, it's important to understand the connection between this and that. And that's it. That is the summary, all right, of your first paragraph. And also, we were able to understand or we were able to comprehend that this and this is important, right? I'm supposing that that's going to be the second body part. Okay, just that, just as that, Melissa. Very, very superficially, try to tell me what were the things that you mentioned. In this case, good mood and productivity. Try to give me that idea in one sentence in which you show me the connection between those two, and that's more than enough. Okay? If you have any other questions, let me know.
No, teacher, it's okay.
All right. Right. So we're about to finish. The last part is something you're going to do it by yourselves again. Okay. So if you take a look at my screen, this is everything you need for the structure. Okay. So you need the introduction with first the hook, second the background or key terms or an outline, and lastly this is statement, right? These are the three parts that you need for your introduction. It's over there. Then you have the first body paragraph. What you need in the first body paragraph is the topic sentence, the extra explanation that is optional, introduce your evidence, insert the evidence, explain or paraphrase the evidence, and a finishing sentence. You need exactly the same for the body paragraph, right? You need exactly the same. Remember, please, the conclusion for the body paragraphs is not what we're doing now, because it's too complex. We need something simple for the conclusion of the body paragraph. And finally, this is what we're doing now, all right? This is what we're doing now, which is the conclusion. First, you restate, right? The final paragraph. Restate that this is a statement, the first thing. Secondly, summarize, right, the topics of the body paragraphs. And finally, reflection. And that's what we're going to read to finish this class. Now, I want to see what you were able to do. Let's read what you got, please. Melissa, what you were able to write.
Okay, I only wrote, it is vital to companies to understand that employees will be more productive and have better performance if they are happy in their workplace.
It's good. It's everything we need, Melissa. It's more than enough, all right? More than enough. Now, just remember, again, we're not going to see this in detail now, but you have to connect this idea to the previous one, right? Because you only need one entire paragraph for the conclusion.
Okay.
It has to be one. So try to think, Melissa, of a good transitional word to connect this idea. You can say, for example, that is why, if you believe it's a good idea to connect with that phrase. Or you can say, right, I don't know, because of everything we mentioned before, we know that, and you introduce this idea. So try to look for the best transitional word and phrase or anything you want to connect this idea, all right, the summary of your thesis statement, with the summary that you're going to give related to your body paragraphs and to the reflection between because the three steps, all right, the three steps are going to be in the same paragraph. I don't know if you have any questions related to this, Melissa. Let me know, please.
No, teacher, it's clear.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And let's read what you got over here with me.
Okay, furthermore, people have to understand that the Asian cultures found some important answers without technology. So we know about this. They learning about the moon cycles more than 1,000 years ago. Scientists provide evidence to support that Egyptians had the first calendar with exactly the correct cycle, and they didn't have technology, but that is not a problem to learn about astronomy.
Okay, it sounds good. It's very complex, but again, right? You're writing as part of the first body paragraph, right? But you're going to use this information in the last conclusion, right, Whitney? Why? Because if you use this here, it's very complex. You're not going to have like the number of words you need, or actually, you're going to overpass the number of words. Because here, for example, it's missing some more, let's say, paraphrasing or explaining in your own words, right? You need to tell me more to make me understand that you understand this. So for example, in your first body paragraph, it's missing the expansion of the paraphrasing, and then you give me a short conclusion. That is the body paragraph. But all these ideas that you have here have to be in the final conclusion. All right, because if you write that again, it's a conclusion that is too complex for only one paragraph. The conclusion that we're working now, as if you can see, Melissa is doing it in a different paragraph, is going to be for the final paragraph, right? For the final conclusion. For this one, again, we only need something short. With furthermore, it's more than enough, right? Furthermore, or right, all in all, we can see that it's really important to know about, I don't know, right, the connection between Egyptians and the astronomy, I don't know. And that's it. Okay, something as short as that is enough. You can tell me something else and try to justify why it was important, but that's it. But all of this, because it's too complex, this has to be used only in the final conclusion for the essay, all right? Final conclusion of the essay. I don't know if you have any questions or comments, Whitney, let me know.
No, teacher.
Okay, good. And finally, this is the last part of your essays, reflection. And please, this time you're going to help me, Whitney, actually. Let's read the reflection, please.
Okay, your conclusion should leave the reader thinking about the significance of the whole topic. Therefore, it is a good idea to include a final thought or reflection. Perhaps one that looks forward or outwards from the thesis statement. And knowing all the advantages of both methods, it will be a good idea to ask ourselves if a mixed method could be the answer to all the problems that we identify throughout the essay.
Thank you, Whitney. So, and this is the last part of your essays, all right? We're not going to work on that now, again, because of time, but this is what you need to do. You need to mention something that is going to produce reflection on the readers, all right? I mean, for example, here they are mentioning a mixed method, and the essay was not about mixed methods, but the last idea of this essay is inviting, all right, it's inviting the reader to do some research about mixed methods, right? So that is producing reflection. Try to give an idea that it says, right, that looks forward or outwards from the thesis statement. So you have to look to expand the knowledge on that thesis, inviting the reader to do some more research related to that same thesis statement or to a different one, but that is connected to the idea that you had. And that's it. All right, that is it. Now, please, if you remember that you have to finish this essay for Monday, it's 360 words. And also remember that you have all the material you need. Please, first, I invite you to read the entire rubric, all right, for you to remember what you need to do to get the higher score. For example, if you don't follow one step, you're only going to get 25 points, but at least you have highlighted these with different colors. 2 steps were not followed, you have 20 points, not 30, but you're still highlighting the different ideas with different colors. You're going to have 15 points only, that's half, right? Half of your score if you don't follow 3 steps, or if you're not highlighting the steps with different colors, all right? So it's very important that you do that, please. You finish your step and highlight it with one color, right? For example, Melissa, you wrote that part of your conclusion. The first part should be one color, and the second part of the summary, a second color, and the reflection is going to be a different color. Just that. So please take a look at this rubric. Be sure that you follow the 5 criteria, okay? We have 5 criteria. Remember, sorry, it's 320, not 60. 320 words, okay? That's the first thing. And to finish the class, just remind you that you have all the presentations here, classwork. So please, if you're not sure how you need to work the introduction, go here and you have the presentation here, all right? It's going to work. It's going to load now. You have the introduction. You have all the PowerPoint presentations uploaded. So go there and you're going to be able to find it, right? Sometimes it takes time to load. There you go. That is the introduction. You have the same for all of them. You have as well the body paragraph. There you go. That's the presentation. And you have the conclusion. And that's the presentation. So please, let's do that. For Monday, then, you have to work, as always, with the in-class activities, right? 9 words. You have to give me the link showing that you were participating in class, doing what we're doing now, right? And that's it. And the essay. Do you have any questions? Let me know, please, because with this, we're finishing the class.
No, teacher.
Okay,
No,
good.
teacher.
Perfect. Thank you very much for being in the class. Please, as always, I'm going to ask you to complete the survey. I hope it doesn't fail as it always does. Again, if it happens, please, again, I'm going to ask you. I don't know why it does this, but okay. Yes, it's not letting me.